comes a really bright big one right here. Straight out of the ocean. I mean, it is big. That is a very fast object. Headed straight down to the Gulf right there. There's a big one taking off right here. Leaving. Just took off from here. Just happen to see it. This is quite large. It's definitely low. It was on the ground. Here's the camera. So there it is. It's a big one. Wow. That's what I call close. On this one. There's a tree. You can see how big it is. It's coming directly overhead. Well, I guess you guys did come back in a big one, huh? You know where I sit. I sit here all the time.
So has anybody from government or private industry ever reached out to you?
They have, but they disappear the very next day. They're gone. I mean, they're gone like a fart in a windstorm. They just want to ask certain questions, look at certain videos, and they're gone. There's a guy on Twitter that he had an account for a long time, had all his videos up and all this stuff, and had all these followers. And he's like, man, I am hooked up, and I do this, and this. And he was in the aerospace industry, and he said, look, he said, you got really good real videos. Would you mind coming to talk to some folks? And we'll actually pay you to do it. I'm like, well, ain't in it for the money, but sure, I'll come talk to you. Very next day, his account was gone. All the information was gone. Everything was gone. And he was gone.
My guest today is John Bell. John is a former member of the Air Force and somebody who has had a lifelong experience with various anomalous phenomena. He's most known right now for basically seeing all of these orbs around his home. And he's somebody who I discovered first. I read a book called UFO of God by Chris Bledsoe, who's a gentleman who basically describes a very similar type of experience to what John has had. And you guys definitely want to check out that book. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. But ever since reading that, I really wanted to see if I could actually sit down with other people who have had these similar experiences. And through serendipity, I discovered John's YouTube channel and his X account, where he uploads hundreds, thousands of videos of the orbs that he records during the night. John's located in Florida, where these orbs seem to be appearing pretty frequently. And so I really hope that you find something interesting in this. This is a really, really cool one that we got to do together. I've been speaking with him for a little while, and it's great to be able to sit down with him. Would love to have him back on anytime. So without further ado, let's jump into this video, and I hope you enjoy this. I wanted to first ask you, John, about when did these experiences first start for you, when you started seeing these orbs, or was there something prior to seeing the orbs that was your first experience?
Well, it's kind of a long story if you want to get into that.
We got the time, yeah. We got the time.
Are you recording now?
We are live, yes indeed.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, there's a lot of things that I noticed when I moved down here that weren't normal. There was objects up where the satellites were that were crossing the sky, really bright, like you were somebody up there welding a piece of steel, that kind of bright. And I sort of recognized them, and I said, well, that's probably TR3Bs or some of our stuff, because it's not going really fast and it's really bright, and it looks like they're just hunkered down flying around. And then we started noticing, I guess a few years later, really fast object that if you looked at them, you would think, well, it must be a meteor coming down, something skipping across the atmosphere. And then you realize after looking at them, they're different colors, and they seem to not have a burning trail. And if you blink, you miss them. And I was like, well, damn, maybe that's something else. And then after thinking about it and studying about it, I was trying to Google my cousin's phone number. Everybody's online nowadays, and I misspelled one of the letters, and it came up Wilbur Allen instead of Wilbur Allen. And here's this guy had been recording these fast objects going across the sky for over 20 years. And then I find out he's a History Channel guy, and I started emailing him, or not emailing him, I just sent him a message on YouTube, and he was gracious enough to answer. And more I looked at his videos, I realized that I was looking at the same things he was. And I figured it'd be a good idea to figure out how he was capturing them, and try to figure it out from there. And by the time I figured out how he was trying to capture them, you just can't go throw down $20,000 to build something to be able to capture these things. And I figured out my own way, which was a night vision scope. I went through the Gen 3 green night vision, didn't cut it. And I came across some other night vision, and I had a cheaper version of what I've got now from a different company in China. And I used that for a little while. It really didn't work that good, but I could see what I was doing. And it was okay until I decided to pull the battery out and put some other rechargeable batteries in it, and I unscrewed the wrong cap, and it twisted the wire off in the unit, and that was the end of that one. So much for the cheap Chinese one. And I bought this one, and I said, well, it's a deal anyway. It's about half price of what they were selling for at the time. And I got it, and it came in, and first night I was like, man, I got this down now. And then the next week was trying to adjust the settings on the scope to get it just right to capture what I was trying to capture. And I went a whole year without realizing that I was surrounded by orbs. I had no idea. And I was sitting outside, and I'd already filmed 3 flybys and a few other things, which is a lot. People sit down all night long, and they're lucky they see one UFO. Well, I see 3 in 20 minutes. And I'm not talking about the little satellites going across. I mean, real UFOs doing turns and twists and flashing back at me. And about that time, I said, you know what? I don't use infrared when I film. Well, I'm going to turn this on and see if there's anything that's close proximity that maybe the infrared will bounce off of it or something. And to my amazement, I turned it on, and there was 2 orbs sitting there about 20 feet away, hovering. Just transparent, but you could see both of them. And they had marks, like right in the front, like a square indentation. And it was funny. It was kind of like watching one of the old Star Wars movies with the orb. Instead of the orb having that thing going around making the noise with the antennas out of it, but these didn't have any antenna. They just sit there. Well, about that time, the second one behind it took off and went all over the yard, all over the house. I could see where it was going. And I just maintained my concentration on the one that was close. And it wouldn't go anywhere. It was just bobbing up and down a little bit, but it was hovering. And I figured out the size of it was about 2 foot wide, was about the size of these things. And I pulled out my laser. I pulled out my filter. I pulled out everything I could. This thing sat there and let me test it. and the laser shot right through it. No reflection at all whatsoever on it. Didn't make any difference. But the thing about it was invisible unless you turn on the infrared. So I figured it out, and then from that moment on, I was like, well, damn, there's a whole different thing going on here. And it was obvious that it was very intentional because the object sat there for 35 minutes. I captured 8 videos of this object. And then the second object came back. My arms are so tired from holding the scope up trying to capture it. Second object comes back, and then they leave together real slow. And I was like, I'll be damned. I just can't believe this. I didn't know what to say. And then I started recording them. And these days I really don't concentrate on them much because they're there all the time. You know, it's like they just like doing their own thing. As soon as I turn on the infrared, they dart behind the trees and stuff. And infrared is invisible. You know, you can't see the line. And the laser beam is real funny. I got a little cheap Chinese pointer. I try to interact with these things and let them know that, hey, I'm here, or hey, it's okay. Hey, come down here. Or hey, you want to play a game? Let's see you zip over here and I'll follow you, and then you come back and forth. I've had them circle. I had the one orb look like he was trying to communicate, and the way I determined that was what he was doing because he moved so fast. He stayed in one spot for several minutes, but he had stop motion. He would zip up and he would stop, and then he would do a curve and then he'd stop again, and then he'd go into another angle. And he did this over and over and over again. None of the movements were the same. It was all different. And I still haven't had anybody go, hey, you know what? I'm going to help you figure that out. You would think somebody would be in line to do that. No, they just really, I guess, not interested. They're like, well, that was cool. So I guess one of these days I'll slow it down and try to make some characters on a piece of paper or something. And, but yeah, it's between that and it's just every UFO you could think of seems to come here. I mean, literally the twin cigars. I never seen that before. And I was on the phone with the gentleman from Nevada that films UFOs too, and I had my microphone muted so my phone conversation didn't show up on my video. And I was like, man, you just wouldn't believe what flew between the clouds here. And there it was. And not only fly between the clouds, it turned and flew between the clouds. Made a turn. So with a little bit of research, one of my viewers sent me a message, and I said, well, in 2012, some gentleman with a telescope captured your UFO sitting up there static for over an hour. And I was like, wow. And the dude had really close up, really good details of the UFO, and it was the same one that I had captured before. And what I've seen in the last month, I guess, is the old UFOs are returning now. The ones with the little antenna sticking out the top. And I mean, you just wait for the Jetsons to show up or something. But you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So everybody's like, that's an old UFO. I'm like, well, they could have been using that UFO a million years ago. You don't know. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it got started. And I upload to YouTube almost daily when it's clear. And I'll put flybys and large UFOs, whatever shows up, I put it on there. I don't discriminate too much. Yeah, I kind of don't like the way YouTube treats the videos, though. They hide the videos. I'm the only one, I think, that I know of that's captured one of the UFOs in full action, full motion, and actually got a still picture of the UFO before it went out of the atmosphere, and it's turned sideways with a disc, and you can see the top on the damn thing. It's shiny, and it's going at 720,000 miles an hour, minimum. Now, when you tell somebody that, you know, hey, this UFO is doing 720K across the sky, how do you know that? Well, it's pretty simple, because I can see the satellites. Satellites are 300 miles in the air. They're lit up. They're illuminated. This object was illuminated too. And the difference that separates them is when this UFO came over my shoulder, it made a noise. It made a humming noise, really loud. I couldn't hear it, but my scope picked it up. So you know the moment to where it is right beside me for maximum sound, and then it goes out into the horizon and straight out into space. It doesn't go up, it goes straight. So with that being said, I could see at least 300 miles. If you put a stopwatch on it, it takes the object 1.5 seconds to get between my shoulder, the horizon, and outer space. And that, if it's 300 miles away, is 720,000 miles an hour. The object was probably doing a lot more than that because I'm being conservative. I can probably see 500 miles away if it's an illuminated object with the night vision. It's real sensitive, real sensitive. Which brings me to the other story is every now and then I capture cloaked out UFOs just a few feet above my head, but they're going so fast all you see is a streak. That's all you see. And the small ones, I've captured some of the small discs, 3 foot, 4 foot wide, flying so close in front of me. I'm glad they could drive because if they ever hit me, I'd be done. That would be the end of me. I mean, they're just going, and I can slow them down and I can stop them, and you can see the little top on the top of them, and they're, silver disc. There it is. How fast they're going, hell, I don't know. I did have the one UFO come very close, and people don't realize that I was filming that UFO for almost a year before it got close. And when it got close, I mean within 1,000 foot close. I actually refreshed that on my Twitter this morning. I made a comment on it. This is my first big UFO sighting. It's been 2 years ago. I've been filming now about 3 years, so. But that was size of a bus. I mean, it's just huge and really bright, and you didn't need night vision to see it. Hell, anybody could see it. It actually slowed down a little airplane over here. Was going down the coast, and you could hear the airplane pull the throttle back because, hey, they got a UFO right in front of them. They probably didn't know what the hell to do. So you would think that'd be a FAA report or something, and I had MUFON investigate that, and MUFON said it was a UFO. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious it's nothing else. Not making a sound, it's right over my head, and it took, I think it took 2 minutes to cross over me to head north. That was how long the video was. And then the one I captured 3 or 4 months ago, I guess, probably 3 months, that video is over 4 minutes long. It took that object a long time to get over my head and to go where it was going at, and it just almost stopped. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into the recording thing. I've been doing it ever since, but nothing surprises me. It's like every night there's something different, and then the orbs are acting different too. I've got an orb that in the last year I probably had 10 videos on it because it's so damn fast. It goes like a ping pong ball. I mean, just really smoking fast, and it's really bright. But it also flashes me in the face. But it also gets into my laser beam to brighten itself up. I don't know why the hell it does that, but I guess it figures that that's where I'm looking at. So it's kind of it's definitely got a sense of humor kind of thing. It seems to show up sometimes inappropriately when I'm filming another large UFO. It's sitting there bouncing around right in front of me. And I'm like, man, really? So it's kind of interrupted, but like I say, I had 10 videos total of it. Now it is here every single night. And a lot of the footage that I captured just to the little object, which is, it's about the size of a basketball. It can get bigger, it can change shape, it can change, it can put a picture of itself. It's made faces at me several times now. And I captured them. It's kind of spooky looking. this little thing left me so much footage it took 2.5 hours to sort through 2 hours of video on the outside. Just that object. That was how much footage it had. It probably appeared 20 times in one night. Never seen anything like it. And I can call it. I can, hey, where you at? Damn thing shows up. Here it is. And I got the videos to prove it.
Wow.
And that thing, I don't know what its purpose is. It's the same object that hit my truck while I was filming one night. And I think it did it as a demonstration just to show me that, don't mess with me because, I can really do whatever I want to and I could probably mess you up. But I've got a big military truck that didn't run. I got it home, hobbled it home, and it weighs 17,000 pounds. That's what I use to film off the platform because it keeps me out of the mosquitoes. And I picked up this truck with just a song and a dance. I just thought it was cool anyway. And I filmed off the back of that, and that object hit the side of that truck and shook that truck. So you're talking about something with, the wheels are 16 inches wide, 4 foot tall. I mean, it's just massive truck. And for that little orb, no bigger than a basketball, to hit that truck, and I didn't know I had it on. I didn't know I'd recorded it, but I had recorded it, and there it is. And that's uploaded too. Even Cosmic Road picked that one up, and he did a whole show on the damn thing. He was so blown away about looking at it, And, I mean, it's kind of important to know that a little bitty orb like that can do physical things.
Right.
It's not like, these ghost hunters have these little orbs in their video, and they're size of a golf ball or size of a tennis ball or a grapefruit flying around. It is not the same thing at all. I've had the orbs in the yard, 6 foot, every bit of it, and coming right at me, and I'm like, shit, what I do now? All I do is film it, and I'm like, okay, well, that was different. You don't feel anything, but that little orb hits you, you're gonna feel it. He could really wallop you, and then I captured a picture of it right in front of me. He was probably 10 foot away. And he was on top of my pointer, and it illuminated the inside of him, and you could see a shell. There's 2 layers of that orb. It's not like the other ones where you just see right through it. This little guy here has a force field around it. And that would explain how he hit my truck, because we went out there with metal detectors. I'm like, man, I got Roswell in the yard. There'd be the little guys sitting out there in the dirt, or something. No, not a scratch. Nothing on the truck. And it was all because of that force field stuff. That's why it didn't make a dent or anything, but it shook that truck. And there's beams underneath that truck and the frame and stuff and you couldn't, you hit it with a sledgehammer, you're not going to put a dent in it. And I can only assume that's the part that the little orb had ran into was probably the frame. Because, I mean, it shook the whole truck. It's like, boom. And I don't know if you've seen that video or not, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I'd love to put some
of
those over. I'm gonna share some of those videos, and I'll link to your channel as well. It is actually really hard to find your channel if you're not signed in and actually a subscriber already. It just doesn't show up. So I'll link to that.
Even then, I disappeared. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I had
something to that.
Well, the video. When I posted the video of the UFO that I got a really good picture of, and I got it going across the sky, and I got soundtrack to it, you would think that's the most important video in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. Like that's the holy grail of UFO videos. I got sound, I got distance, I got light, I got a picture of the damn thing in high definition. There it is. So I had 33 subscribers on YouTube. All of them were friends and family, and I can guarantee you that nobody is awake out of all my subscribers at 1:30 in the morning. That video in 2 minutes had 9 viewers on it, and the next morning it was green screen. You couldn't even see the damn video. I had to repost it again and shorten the version, and that's alphabet agencies taking that stuff off. That's all I could figure out. Somebody for YouTube is connected up. They got to be connected up, but They didn't want anybody to see that. And then the other one that happened to, I captured a UFO that made 9 stop and goes way off in the distance. I mean, really quick, like really quick, like I never seen before, and then shot off in the distance. They didn't like that one either. My big UFO video, they didn't green screen it. They just hit it where nobody could see it. That thing sat around forever before it got 50 views, which is crazy. I was like, you got all these fake videos on there. Here's a real one with crickets, and it's right over my head, and I'm hitting it with a laser pointer. I mean, hell, what more do you want? Because I thought that was the end all when I captured that one. I was like, okay, I won't have to film anymore. I've already proven it, you know. Not true.
Why do you think
but
that
Twitter,
these?
I did pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Why do you think that there's censorship of these videos, but we also see somebody like Chris Bledsoe who's being promoted so heavily?
Well, you're probably going to have to edit out this part, but the last video he put up wasn't real. It was a faked up video.
That was the
I
Tic
don't know if
Tac looking thing?
It was the one that looked like it was a laser pointer shining on a cloud or something, but somebody was definitely doing that. It had nothing to do with an orb or anything. Now, Chris,
Right.
you know, he's had a lot of contacts, a lot of government intervention and all this stuff, according to them. And I have no reason to doubt it, but okay, where the hell's his real close-up videos with the sitting right there on top of him? I mean, damn.
Right.
I figured he would have some of the best videos you ever seen in the world, and then when I got to looking, I was like, well, hell, I get those all the time. Yeah, it's big and it's right there, but I've captured so many I don't even post them. I only post the really close ones now. The ones that interact are really, really bright. That's the only ones I deal with, and they're not that far away. They're only a few thousand feet in the air, and the ones that's a long ways off, the only way I'll post them is if they interact back, they flash me back. And it's sad to say that, but you get so many people saying, oh, that's ISS, and hey, chill. That's the ISS, and that's a satellite, and you know, my last large video, I filled a report in with MUFON, filled it in. I copied it. I tagged it actually to the video down below it. You can see MUFON report number. They took the time to send that video out of state to some organization, somebody somewhere. Went through the video, determined the video was real, but said it was a satellite. Now, I'm sorry, but you don't have any idea how high the satellites are or anything, because a little bit lower I could hit it with a rock. I mean, literally, it's that low. It's low enough to where I think I probably got injured from the magnetic flux or whatever the hell's going on underneath it, because I started losing massive amounts of bone, or not bone, but muscle tissue. Been to the doctor twice, hospital twice because of it. And they couldn't figure it out. And I'm recuperating now. I got my legs back, and my shoulders just kill me, though. It's just really, really painful, but I don't know. The doctors were at a loss of it. I lost 60 pounds of muscle in less than 6 months, and that's a lot. I'm usually 335, 350 pounds. I'm not small. I'm 6'4", and I got down to 275, and I checked myself in the hospital the second time.
Yeah.
And the doctors were so perplexed. I was in there 5 or 6 days and had all these specialists looking at me, and they were so perplexed that they were just gonna, just shrug it off to something else. And until Dorothy pulled out the cell phone and goes, "This is what he looked like before," and then the doctor's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Which my original profile picture on Twitter was me. I don't look like that anymore. I look like a damn twig. So yeah, I'm recovering to a certain extent, but whatever it is, it really took a toll on me. I mean, I couldn't get off the couch. We're talking, can't get out of the chair. Dorothy had to get me dressed for work. I mean, put my pants on. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I couldn't wash my underarms because I couldn't reach with the other arm across.
Right.
Like I say, my shoulders is the only thing left hurting now, but that's kind of what I think it was. And that last video, if you look at it, you can see the energy swirling underneath the damn thing. And I mean, it's swirling, and it's right over me. And it took 4 minutes of that UFO to go about its own business. I mean, I think they should have just landed in the yard. It'd have been better. Get it over with. If I'm gonna get injured,
Yeah.
at least make it worth it, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's no explanation for that at all.
There are a lot
Maybe
of
they're just
incidents.
trying to skinny.
Right. They're looking out for you, I guess. There are a lot of incidents of
Yeah, they
people.
want to take me for a ride. They said you're too heavy. We gotta put you on a weight loss system.
We'll get you in a couple of years once we can carry you. So has anybody from government or private industry ever reached out to you?
They have, but they disappear the very next day. They're gone. I mean, they're gone like a fart in a windstorm. They just want to ask certain questions, look at certain videos, and they're gone. There was a guy on Twitter that he'd had an account for a long time, had all his videos up and all this stuff, and had all these followers. And he's like, man, I am hooked up, and I do this, this, and this. And he was in the aerospace industry, and he said, look, he said, you got really good real videos. Would you mind coming to talk to some folks? And we'll actually pay you to do it. And I'm like, well, ain't in it for the money, but sure, I'll come talk to you. Very next day, his account was gone. All the information was gone. Everything was gone. And he was gone. And I was like, yep, I was right. So somebody told him to shut up or get the hell on or whatever. So I figure probably the reason they don't bother me is I'm kind of like a intelligence guy out here going, hey, look what I captured tonight. Hey, these are moving in now. And I don't know what the hell this thing is, but it's here now. That's kind of what I am. That's
Right.
probably why they don't bother me. I'm a veteran anyway. I was in the Air Force. I used to be aircraft mechanic, so, you know, I know what airplanes and even predator drones, I can identify them pretty good. Matter of fact, I captured one not too long ago. And B-52s, C-17s, C-130s, they're all here. They're all here. I did capture a couple of aircraft that were using the infrared LEDs, whatever. They were making themselves so bright you couldn't see the aircraft. And it would only make sense because it keeps me from recording them to see what it looks like anyway. And I have no idea what the hell the aircraft looked like, but you could hear the engines when it went by. And I was like, wow, I'm glad I didn't put the pointer on it. But you know what? If you're gonna be airplane, be airplane. Don't half-ass it and just be a ball of light floating around. You know, that might get you run over.
Right.
But I did notice that they do stop the air traffic around here when the large UFOs come over out of the coast. It's like they know they can see them on radar or whatever they're using, and you won't see a jet for 20 minutes, and here come the large orbs come right over, and then some of them of the UFOs just don't give a damn. I mean, I captured several of them just really close to the aircraft. I captured one that was underneath a commercial jet. And I mean, when I say it was underneath it, I mean it was really underneath it. It was probably 20 yards underneath it. That close. And I captured the jets steering towards the damn things. You can tell they're probably military jet, but they're not a fighter jet. They're just steering to get intelligence on these UFOs. And, you know, in a bad way, because they show up here all the time, I've thought about maybe it's a problem because, damn, if you want to shoot some down, just set up out here somewhere and just wait on John, and they come see John, we'll blast them. So don't be surprised you don't see a video of a UFO getting shot down. I mean, I've captured everything else. I've actually captured. There's an object that came out of the atmosphere burning. It's burning for a long time up to the north. And that video is posted. It's one of my earlier videos, and at the time I didn't think anything about it. And then now I'm like, well, damn, they probably shot a UFO down because the damn thing's burning. It's burning all the way to the ground, and it's a long video. You can see the trail behind the object, and it's not going sideways. It's going straight down, and it's like it slows itself down somehow to keep it from totally crashing, I guess. But it's so far away. I mean, I could barely see it, but yeah, I got it. I captured it.
And you mentioned that so you're located in Florida, and you mentioned that when you moved there, that's when these incidents started occurring. So do you think that this has to do with the location or with you personally? Why exactly are they coming to this area?
Well, I think as far as me goes, I think it's a trust thing. I think it's a need thing. They want me to film them. If they didn't, they wouldn't have to appear. It's a lot of damn trouble to go through to fly into the atmosphere at high rate of speed, do a 90-degree turn and do a circle and fly right back out into space again, and hope that I capture the damn thing. I mean, that's a lot of trouble to go through. And I'm not talking about one instance of capturing a cigar. I'm talking about hundreds in the last 3 years, and some nights 5 or 6 at a time. It's crazy. It's really crazy, and the area's got something to do with it too. I can see the plate of the Milky Way. If I look straight ahead, straight above, the plate comes straight across, and you can see the more dense pattern of stars and asteroids and all that dust and all that stuff. You can see it pretty clearly through the night vision, and it seems to be really close to that plate. That's where they pop in at, and that's where they come through at. And for whatever reason, this area is pretty active. And I know some people tell me that, their place is active, but they don't have anything like the number of UFOs and stuff that I do. I mean, hell, people have been doing this for years and years and years, don't have the collection I do. Especially when it comes to the large spears and stuff. I mean, who the hell's ever seen that? And you'll hear people comment, well, they come back every night at the same time. No, they do not. They come from a different direction, different altitude, different brightness, different weather conditions. Their destination changes. And if I was just sitting motionally still with a large view scope objective looking up, then you can see the things turn, but it's harder to see mine turn because I'm following it with a little scope. But if you look at the constellations and you hear what I'm saying, here comes the object out of the west coast going over to the east coast, and then the damn thing winds up in the south. Guess what it did? It just did a turn. Right. People argue that. I'm like, dude, well, that's a satellite. I'm like, satellites don't turn. Right. And Elon has put a bunch of those things up. The last batch that he put up, I captured them. I didn't upload them, but I captured them. And they are moving way too slow, and they are way too low. And then the spy satellites that got launched right along beside that, I captured Elon's satellites, the Starlink, and the new spy satellites they put up. And there ain't no way in hell that those things are going to stay in that orbit. They're too low. And it was 24 hours since they've been launched, and I'm pretty sure they've gained up all the speed they're going to get up. If anything, they're going to slow down. But I said to myself then, I said, that's got to be powered up with the same stuff the military and the secret stuff is using now. It didn't make any noise, but it was definitely low. You could see they were low. And the very next night, the satellites were reacting like they were powered. They had different spaces, different altitudes, and all kinds of crap coming on when they came around. And I said, they got to have some way to move the damn things. They're not firing retro rockets to move them in orbit like that. They've run out of fuel. I mean, we're talking about massive, putting miles between each other to where they were stacked up the night before. That takes a lot of negotiating and a lot of That would take a lot of driving to do that. And when I seen that, I was like, man, that's just crazy. And then I seen his interview where he said he didn't know anything about aliens or UFOs or anything, and he wished somebody had a clear photograph or a video of a UFO that wasn't all fuzzy. So it was about that time I went to digging, because 3 of the times I was filming his train, UFO came straight down out of orbit, did a turn right in front of it, and shot off. And then I've got him a small airplane in the view and a cigar going right over his UFO train, or his satellite train. So I posted those up. That kind of went viral. Everybody was sharing those when he did that interview, and I was like, man, I'm glad he didn't get mad at me. But I'm like, there's no way in hell he didn't know about that. It's right in front of his satellites, and you know the satellites got cameras on them. I mean, come on. You going to spend all that money up there, and you're not going to put a little tiny web camera on your satellite?
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, the internet just really sucks. We've had almost 3 weeks of storms down here. Every day has been storming. Yesterday it rained all day long. Lightning strikes. The dogs are going crazy. None of them like lightning at all. We got one of them in particular. She'll knock you down once the lightning hits. I mean, she don't care. She's going to get underneath you, wherever you're at.
Yeah. I got a dog myself, but lucky for me, he's pretty cool with the lightning and the thunder and the fireworks. So that's nice.
Yep.
I missed out on what you were saying at the end there, but I was kind of curious to get your perspective on where do you think that these objects are originating from? Are they all coming from the same place? Are these from the same group, or are we dealing with multiple groups here?
We are dealing with multiple groups. No two are the same at all. I thought maybe it was a particular one. It's not. At first I thought, I had to ask myself, because I got such a high success rate. My scope is so small on the objective part of it. It's 40 millimeter, I think. I've only got a shot glass view of the sky. So if you hold the shot glass up and you look up, that's what I'm looking at. Well, what are the odds of me capturing the only damn UFO that's coming into the atmosphere, doing a turn and going back out again, all in my view? It's not very good. So after a while, I started asking myself, I said, well, how in the hell are they able to do that? How would you make that happen? Do they know in time where I'm going to be looking at? I mean, are they reading my mind? Do I have a chip, behind my eyeball? I mean, what's going on? And after damn near 2.5 years, I noticed there was flickers on the scope, and I noticed every now and then my it's all digital. I noticed my viewfinder would turn silver, or it would turn some other color, purple or whatever color it was, and I couldn't figure out the source, why the hell it was doing that. And then I noticed it was changing the modes that it was viewing in, and I was like, okay, well that's really damn strange, because they haven't changed it on the buttons. So they're actually improving it, brightening it up to where I can see them better. So obviously they can hack into the scope. It's electronic, it's digital. So I got confirmation of that. I was here, did my videoing. I had several UFOs that I'd recorded that afternoon, and we had a guest here from the History Channel, was sitting on the couch right over here. And I came in and I was downloading the UFO images I captured. I captured a couple of, bright orbs and spears and stuff, and I think 1 or 2 flybys, and I'm downloading them. And I put them on my phone because it Bluetooths to the scope. The scope won't interface with the internet, but it'll interface with my phone. If you put the right program on it, it'll connect up, and then you can download your video on it. They make it real easy to use. With that being said, I downloaded this one video in particular. It wasn't anything spectacular, the video wasn't. It was just a normal video that I probably wouldn't even going to post it online. And damn if there ain't some alien voices and shit all over this thing. And it is not normal tone. It's on my phone, and when I played it the first time, you could hear it through the closed door in the yard. That's how loud it played on my phone. And the guy from the History Channel jumped straight up and goes, "That's extraordinary." So I played it again, and about that time Dorothy came in and goes, "What the hell is that?" I said, "Some UFO shit." And I mean, it was like gong sounds and all sorts of shit that you just wouldn't, you can't even describe how it sounded. So I played it the second time. So I'm so excited. I'm like, man, I got some alien stuff, alien voices and some sounds on my device that I've never heard before, and I couldn't hear it when it was doing it. Obviously, they imprinted it on my damn scope. So the third time I went to play it, all of that alien sounds was all gone out of the video. And I'm like, what in the hell? So I'm thinking, okay, it's gone off my phone. It's gone off my download. That's fine. I got my scope is right here, which isn't tied to the internet at all. I'll just reload it. So I deleted it, and I reloaded it. Same damn thing. So they had enough technology to put it on there. But then the thing that got me was they had enough technology to take it off. They only wanted it to be heard momentarily. They didn't want it to be shared with a bunch of people. But obviously, it wasn't meant for just me. It was probably meant for him sitting on the couch too. He's kind of freaked out. So
yeah, it makes sense.
That's another story. Second day he was here, there's that large UFO that's in the video. The first one I captured was over the house, and I go outside. I'm all excited. I'm like, second day, man, we're gonna get a video. It's gonna be great. I got Mr. 20-year-old veteran over here with the History Channel. Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I run out there to video it, and the puppies have gotten loose. We had a bunch of wolf puppies that we rescued, and they're wrapped around my legs. I can't get across the yard. Finally, I get over to the truck. I pull myself up on the truck. The puppies kind of back away a little bit, and I'm recording this thing. The video's up, and I thought the guy was behind me. No, he ran in and locked the door. He was terrified. And I ain't quite figured that out. I was like, man, did you think I was kidding when I said UFOs here? I mean, I got UFOs.
Right, it comes with the territory.
He's got abduction stories and stuff, so I understand. But still, I was like, I was really disappointed. I was like, son of a bitch, what are the odds of that happening like that? I still captured it, but not as close as I did when I come out the door. I seen it, and I had to get my scope and run back out the door again. And by then, I got puppies and everything on me. And I was like, damn.
Right. At least he heard that audio, though. That's a start.
Well, he did. He'll never forget that audio. I'll never forget it either. But recently, probably a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than a month ago, there was a UFO late at night, moving real slow up where the satellites would be moving at, and almost to a stop. And it left voices on my freaking scope. I didn't hear it, but when I downloaded it, you could hear it. And people have slowed it down and speeded it up, and it sounds like it says, "How are you doing this afternoon?" or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell? But when you play at normal speed, it does not sound like it. It sounds like something else.
Right. So this is happening during the day? This happens during the daytime too? Nighttime. Okay.
No, not the daytime, but just night. But
gotcha.
Just being able to put that voice on my scope, I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And I've asked them to do it again. They haven't done it again. But I'm like, hey, leave me a voicemail. That was cool. I want to hear. Let's hear some more jibber jabber.
So have you seen any beings? Any actual physical beings? Or is it always their craft?
It's always their craft, but the orbs are making faces and stuff. And now they're making figures. And I captured a couple in particular where I wave at them, and then, damn, they wave back. And it was kind of weird because this bright little orb turned into this figure that's kind of blurry, but you can see the big eyes and the skinny ass hand standing out. Looks like it's waving at you.
Right.
And about, I guess about 4 weeks ago, this new orb showed up. And this orb was a cluster of orbs in a line, like in a curved line. And it was so fast that I could only get 2-3 frames when it come across my pointer. And just looking at it while you're recording it, you don't know if it's a bat. You don't know what the hell it is. When you slow it down, you can figure out real quick that that's a bunch of orbs stacked into each other that's making a shape. So the next trick they did was they made a perfect circle out of themselves. They come flying by, and all the orbs is in a circle. Well, that was neat. So then, probably a week later, after seeing the same object, I stopped it and noticed that they looked differently. So each one of them was a head stacked on top of each other, big eyes, little mouth, typical alien. And one of them's got his freaking hand up waving, and you can see his fingers. And I'm like, how in the hell do you even do that? That's posted too. It's on Twitter too. And yeah, that's kind of, if you think about it, you're real advanced civilization. You want to come down and see a bunch of barbarians. That we are definitely barbarians. I mean, we can get down with the gritty with the best of them. I mean, violence, that's our middle name.
Right.
But if you're an advanced species, you're not going to do the Star Trek thing. Hey, let's beam down there and let's go walking around and try not to get shot. That's not going to work out too well. So I figure they send orbs. That's probably what the orbs are. Part of them anyway.
Right.
And,
yeah, there does seem to be a
would
potential for those orbs
Yeah.
even to be consciousness themselves.
Well, I thought about it, and I just kind of think the speed at which Tinkerbell moves and navigates the turns and the stops, which there's a video I posted it's 2.3 seconds long. This little orb does 8 complete stop and goes. Each one of them are over 20 foot apart. Each one of these maneuvers, and it happens so fast it looks fluid motion, but it's not. You can see when the little orb stops because it gets solid, and then it takes off, and it's a blur, and then it goes on and on and on. And it's right in front of me. It's point blank range. It's within 40 feet of me. And also captured video of the orb right in my lap. I mean, literally right here, shooting straight out into the clouds. Half a second maybe to get there. I mean, how fast is that little thing going? I would have to say that thing is AI or it's alive, one or the other. I don't think anybody's running a joystick on it. I mean, if they are running a joystick on that, my hat's off to them, because that's a lot of damn maneuvers to do.
Right.
And,
unless you're slowing down time or something like that.
Maybe time runs different for them.
Right.
It's one of them head scratching things. You just try to figure it out and do the best you can. And I try not to pin anything. Oh, that's alien. That's alien. Oh, there's alien. There's alien. Because you don't know. You really don't know unless it lands in the yard.
Right.
My luck, some Space Force guy gets out and goes, "Hey, man, what's going on?"
Yeah. Do you think any of this could be human technology?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
There
they
is
figured it out
definitely-
a long time ago.
There's a huge body of history to that. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's coming closer to us knowing the truth, but they could actually stop it, unless some real put their foot down and go knock in, kick in a few doors. The only way they're going to know. And then, how you going to know then? Because then they could have took all the stuff away, or could have showed you something that, here, we're going to show them this. This isn't the truth, so we're going to hide even further here.
Right.
So, I timed that UFO that made the noise, and I had left on the post, I said, I did the math on it. And I said, a 6-day trip to Mars. I said, in 6 days, this UFO could be sitting there at 720,000 miles an hour. And I got a few laughs and everything. Oh, that's real slow and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, that's really not that slow. It's just Mars is a long damn ways away. You just don't think it's a long ways away.
Right.
And,
6 days is pretty good.
6 days is pretty good time. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, that's not light speed at all. And if we have that technology, we already got base on Mars and wherever the hell else we can hang out at. I mean, we probably got stuff on the moon unless the aliens kick their ass and send us back home. We never know about that either. I mean, they would never tell anybody. I do know that I have a very large, probably 1968-69 model telescope. It's a Cassegrain, so you see straight through it. The only problem is the image is always turned around, looking straight through it. But it's not the refractor, but it works really good. I have the big lenses, the big objective lenses to look at it, so you ain't got to squint your eye looking at this little tiny hole to see the moon or craters or anything. And one night I had the big lens in it, and I could see the entire moon, this whole circumference, all the little, holes and everything in it. And I look, and there's a damn spacecraft launched out of the dark side of the moon straight into outer space. I didn't film it. I didn't have a camera attached to it, but I witnessed it. And I was like, I'll be damned. That was something else, because it was just like watching a Star Trek movie where you see the thing hit warp drive. It was like, gone like that. And of course, not a meteorite. Meteorites don't come from the moon. They might hit the moon,
Right.
but they ain't coming from the moon.
No.
And anyway, thank you. I witnessed that, and one night, same telescope. I really enjoyed the telescope when I used to use it. I still got it. It's just not practical anymore. It's just really not practical. And anyway, I was sitting out here. I set it up, and I pull out my cell phone. I've got where all the planets are supposed to be, where anything that you want to see, nebulas or whatever, they're all going over the horizon. There ain't nothing to look at except Neptune. Planet Neptune was off to the west a little bit. So I said, you know what? I never seen Neptune before. I'll check that out. I figured at least as far as it is, I'd see a little tiny, aqua dot or whatever I would see out of it. So I find it. I get it lined up with my phone program and everything, and I tune it in. I put my really, really magnifying lens in the telescope, and everything is steady. My tripod probably weighs 200 pounds. It's enormously heavy. I get hurt just moving it out in the yard. But it's real stable. I got to watch the Jetsons go across deep space between me and Neptune for about 6 seconds before they disappeared. And I was like, son of a bitch. I would not have believed that. It was just like, it was surreal. You see this little white UFO going, and you can't hear it, but you can see the streak coming off of it, and it's like, I'll be damned, there's a UFO right there. And if I'd have got that on film, we probably would be having this conversation. I'd be doing shaving commercials and stuff now.
White House Press Club. Yeah.
Either that or I'd be
So
dead. Shut up.
Yeah. Got to get rid of this guy. He sees too much. Have you had experiences outside of the orbs with anything anomalous, like out-of-body experiences or precognitive dreams or abductions yourself? Anything worthy of note?
Yeah, I got some really weird experiences that happened. I would say about 1973 year, the Pascagoula incident where the 2 guys were fishing late at night and got picked up by the robots, and they had these weird looking alien beings kept injecting them, shooting them up with syringes and stuff or whatever, knocking them out and abducting them.
Right, the guys are climbing on the
I lived,
trees, trying to get away. I
I
think that's
lived
the
in
story.
Memphis at the time, and I was about 6 years old. And it's really funny story. I mean, it's so damn strange. You know, you would never even think about anything like it. You just wouldn't think about it. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and I was always terrified of the dark. I'd always run to the bed and cover up. And, you know, hard time going to sleep because scared of the dark. I don't know why. I just was terrified. So one night, I had just hopped into bed, nowhere near going to sleep. Really didn't even get my covers up. Not good enough anyway. I look over on my window, and the window was right next to the bed to the left. Now keep in mind, I'm not asleep. I'm wide awake. I just laid down. And this damn cartoon started playing on my window. And when I mean a cartoon, I mean a little dancing bear about 6, 8 inches tall, not very big at all. But that was the coolest thing. I was like, what in the hell is that? What's that doing on the window? I didn't even think about it, you know. And at the time, it didn't look like a projector. It looked better than a projector. Like it was very, very crisp and clean, and this little bear is just doing this thing, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look in the corner of my eye, and there's a guy sitting on my bed at the bottom down there, completely dressed in white, big robe on. Looked just like a Jesus dude. Could have been Jesus, could have been anybody. I don't know. I just remember what he looked like. And I remember I was scared, but I wasn't scared. I was more curious than I was anything else because it's just a man, you know. It's just a man, and there's a cartoon on my window. So it happened so fast. I went to look at the window to see if the cartoon was still going on. It was gone, and I looked back, and the guy was gone. And it happened really, really quickly. The cartoon, I probably watched it for, I probably seen it a good 10, 20 seconds before I noticed the guy sitting on the damn bed, and I didn't look at him very long. You know, I was kind of like, the hell is that?
Right.
But shortly after that, and the very next morning, they had the Pascagoula incident. It was all over the damn news, where they had taken those guys aboard the UFO, and yeah, there's a lot of people testifying about that stuff, and they had other witnesses that they really didn't know about because nobody would come forward because everybody was like, UFO, you're bananas, you know, whatever. And
This
I
is
sure as hell never
1970s.
thought of it. Yep, it's about 1973, and that was all over the news. But within a week, I was laying in bed, and I just knew my parents had to hear it. The whole house was humming, vibrating from a hum, and the hum was right over the house. It sounded like a gigantic electric razor was going off on the roof, and I mean everything, including my bed, was humming. I could hear it, I could feel it. That kind of was a little bit overwhelming, and I didn't get out of bed. But the next day, nobody heard it, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You didn't hear that? How in the hell did you sleep through that?" But you know, when you're 6 years old, you don't think too much about it. You're like, "Ah, man, you know, nobody." So I never said anything else about it. You know, I really didn't.
Right.
And, but it wasn't but a short time after that I started developing these damn headaches, and these headaches would not go away. They were so severe that I could be at school, I could be at the house. It didn't matter where I was at. I would hurt so bad I would throw up, and then I had to lay down somewhere where there was no light. I mean, literally no light at all anywhere in there. And I did that for over 10 years. And I do know that I couldn't remember anything. I just really couldn't remember. I couldn't. School was a nightmare. I didn't know how to add, subtract, multiply. My sophomore year in school, how crazy is that? I got past all them years. Oh, just he'll make up for it next year. I mean, shit, that's kind of important, being able to add, subtract, multiply.
Right.
So about my sophomore year, all of a sudden I got brains. I don't know what happened, but I could remember everything at that point. And I'm still at that point now. I can go. You give me a 80 page set of blueprints for a commercial building, I can memorize them and show you where everything's at. That just looking at it one time, basically. And I don't have the photographic memory. I just have the recall of all the details and stuff. That's what I have. And
I see.
it's crazy to go from not being able to know basic little things because you can't remember it to remembering everything. And I tell people, that you guys may think you got smarter, but man, I got really stupid there for years and years. I mean, it's embarrassing as a kid not be able to, remember stuff, and then you get spanked for it. Why'd you do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
That was what I grew up in. So.
Well, you're in a better place now. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Well, the 10 years of the headaches was so bad. I'd throw up and I'd lay down, and for 3 or 4 hours I would go into a coma, almost a coma. I mean, you could literally just say I'm in a coma because I was unconscious, that far gone. And I would wake up, not have any pain at all, and I would eat the couch if I couldn't get any food out of the refrigerator. I mean, literally. Anything sweet in the house, it was gone. I mean, literally, package of cookies, half a gallon of milk. Oh, I'm all over that. I'd feel fine for a few weeks, and it would do it again. And I never did figure it out. My parents were so worried about it when I was smaller that they took me to the best specialist they could find in Memphis, and they hooked me up, put me to sleep. First time I ever seen my brain waves on a computer, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. They thought I had a brain tumor, and obviously I didn't. They couldn't find it or anything, but I always wondered about that,
Seriously. Have you ever gone through hypnosis to try to maybe learn more?
No, I probably I don't know if it would work on me or not. Anyways, I really don't.
Yeah.
I do know that I've done the outer body several times. I used to
Oh,
be
wow.
able to do it all the time when I was a kid. I just didn't know what it was.
Was that an
And
accident or intentional?
Well, when I was a kid, I just attributed it to dreams and stuff. Like I was falling asleep or whatever. And I didn't realize it later on that I was actually seeing people that were dead. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's not good. It's not good at all. There was an old country store that was in front of us. It didn't get power until 1947. And the reason I know that, they had all these advertisements stapled to the wall to help insulate the place. They had all these poster boards and stuff. And there's the fuse box for electricity on the 1947 poster, right on top of it. And one night, I went to sleep. At least that was the way I described it. And man, I seen all these people, all these old timers, overalls and pocket knives out, the whole 9 yards, and just scowls on their face. I couldn't get away from them. I couldn't escape it. And they were just trying their best to just scare the shit out of me. And I finally, when I came out of it and I woke up, the whole bed was just one big wet spot. And I mean a big wet spot. And it was the middle of winter. It was really cold in the bedroom I was at. And I was very young. And I sure remembered them. I remembered every damn one of them. And later on, I would go on trips, go here, go there. And even when I was in the military, I was doing it. And I remember one night, I was so tired, I just laid down to go to sleep. I popped out, and I went over and found my buddies over there working in a hangar. I was in the Air Force. Found them in the hangar, was looking at them. I thought, this is stupid as hell. I just got off of work. I don't want to go back to work. About that time, I snapped back, and I remember that was the one time I had the sensation of being on a roller coaster going backwards. It was so quick that I snapped back, and I was like, son of a bitch. And then we were all on alert, and I remember having the dream that I was in a foreign country, that they were speaking language. I didn't know what the hell they were speaking. I didn't know what Muslim sounded like, because I'd never been around one that was speaking Arabic. And next thing you know, I'm running hangar to hangar. Things are blowing up. I see the runway, and I see all these planes that are airplanes that are bombing this place where I'm at. I'm trying to get away. I'm just running as fast as I can from building to building, trying to get away from this stuff. And this one guy stops and looks at me like that. Like, what the hell are you doing here? Kind of thing. And then I snapped out of it. Well, it was so incredible, my whole bed was just soaking wet again, that I told all my friends, and it was 8 people in the truck. I told about it. And I described the plane. I said, hey, you ain't going to believe this, but these are Aardvark. The plane we put in decommission and stuff, there was an Aardvark bombing the damn runway and stuff. And they're like, Aardvark? We decommissioned them. So that night, Ronald Reagan, we're all sitting around the TV. We see Ronald Reagan saying, we ain't going to put up with this. Next thing we know, there goes the alert horn, and we're off to war. Well, we didn't know the Russians were going to respond to it or not, which they didn't. Ronald Reagan told them, you better get your troops out of there, and I think they bombed Gaddafi's brother. And you didn't hear nothing from Gaddafi for a long time, but all my friends and the people I told about that was totally in shock when that came on and that came to be. They were like, how in the hell did you know? And that's when I realized that it's nothing to do with just being out of your body. It's to do with time too. Right. So with that being said, obviously time is different if you're in that state of mind, I guess. And I wasn't able to do it. I couldn't do it if I tried to for years and years, and it was almost like I got blocked out from doing it, because I'd be so tired and go to sleep, and I'd expect to do it and not do it. And I just figured it was just for the best, just for the best. There was a reason for it. And I got so damn aggravated with these UFOs. I'm like, you're right here. Why don't you come down? Look, don't know what the hell they look like. Come on. Let's come on. At least stop out here. Stop and look out the hatch and wave at me or do something. I want a damn picture of it. Why not? At least figure out what I'm dealing with. I don't want to be dealing with something with horns and all red and who's, that's all I need to get out of the damn thing.
Right.
Satan pops up and little landing gear out here in the yard, you don't mess with something like that. So without even trying to do it, I did it. And they were not happy. The thing that I met was, and this is what I remember, when I first did it, I didn't know where the hell I was at first. And then I realized where I was at, and I was like, what in the hell is that standing in front of me? What is that? And then I realized that's a leg and that's a knee. I'm coming up to the knee of this thing. So every time I tried to ask a question, all it did was scowl at me. Didn't want to answer shit. It was like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And I figured out it was the ones on the cigars, the ones that are really large in the cigars. That's what that was.
What was the face like? Did you see the face?
It was different color. It was humanoid, but it was different. It was definitely different. And he was pissed. I mean, pissed. Like, how dare you ask me a question, and what the hell are you doing? It was like, I'm the intruder. I just showed up.
Right. Just popped into their world.
You figure if they're so advanced and stuff, and we have the ability to do something like that would piss you off too, wouldn't it? If you couldn't do that, and you got all this advanced equipment and all this technology, and you're 20 foot tall or 18 foot tall, and you can just do whatever you want to do. And here's a little human being that just shows up and goes, "Hey, what's up, man?"
What's going on here?
I can see
Yeah.
where it might be upsetting. Breach of security might be an understatement for that.
Right. When you're in these states, have you ever seen any technology, any of the inner workings of how these things might function?
No, no.
No. Because I know some people have been interviewed who've been abducted to help try to put together how one might actually reverse engineer something like this.
Some people, I don't know, I'm a good problem solver. And I would have to say we've had the technology for anti-gravity since probably before the 50s they had it.
Yeah.
We probably had it since the 20s. It's just we couldn't figure it out. I know that our neighbor over here, his dad, was the last survivor of that expedition, Amber Bird.
Oh, yes. Antarctica.
He died about, 3 months ago, maybe, honey? Probably about 3 months ago, he passed away. He was in his 90s. But he was on the battleship and was one of the fire control guys. The officers, in charge of putting out the fires and stuff. Yeah. And anyway, he'd only talked about it twice to his son, and he said, "Look," he said, "they had energy weapons on the land." He said, I don't know anything about any flying UFOs or anything, but he says that was the energy weapons that set the deck of the ships on fire. That was what he witnessed. And
Right.
something came out of the ocean, though, that bent the bow of the battleship up, that's 9 foot thick and steel. It bent it straight up like that. So they had ordered everybody to go down below the deck because, hell, if you're standing up there, you're gonna get zapped. And they really didn't want them to see all that stuff either. It was kind of a surprise thing. Now,
Right.
if it was aliens or if it was Nazis, who knows what the hell it was? He didn't know what it was. He only knows that they had energy weapons on the shore that they were
Right.
firing at the ships. And battle only lasted 20 minutes. We lost several hundred troops, and what was left of the ships came back. It was over with 20 minutes. It was over, and they retreated, and that's real.
Yeah,
According
we
to
now
his
have
dad.
we now have Department of Homeland Security admitting that the directed energy weapons have been involved in the Havana Syndrome incidents.
Yeah, yep.
So, after nearly 100 years, things are finally coming around. It seems that way.
Yeah,
I wanted
they
to get-
but
Yeah,
it's still not
Too
fast
slowly.
enough to suit me.
right, exactly. So, what can people who are listening to this or watching this today do to try to speed up that process? What do you want people to take away from this discussion?
Well, the best thing that people can do is to keep watching the damn videos. If you got a bunch of people that have hidden videos like mine that the word doesn't get out, you got to share that stuff and multiply it up. And can you imagine me if I got 1 million subscribers? And I get this all the time. I get people that discover my channel or they'll run across me on an X and they're like, "Dude, the hell are you been at? Why haven't I ever
Right.
seen these videos before?" And I'm like, because they really don't want them shown. And
Yeah, that was my experience.
I'm just one of these people. I don't make it real fancy. It's kind of like a diary, like, oh, here it is, and this is what I captured every night. And to me, it's just business as usual. But to somebody that's not used to that, they go, "Holy crap!" In a Christmas tree, and they're still looking at the video. They're still showing the stupid top video that the Nimitz and all that stuff. I'm like, really? Come on.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. It's hard to
I
find
can't
though.
imagine having that tech. If I had that tech, what would I capture? And that is a really advanced system they got on the spotter planes anyway.
That forward-looking
Really
infrared.
advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they make it look like a damn cartoon.
Right.
I mean, I
I have
got
a feeling-
infrared.
I feel like a lot of those videos that we see out of the government are being downgraded. The quality's being reduced on those.
Oh, definitely mine. Mine gets downgraded all the time. I mean, it really
Right.
does. It's.
Yeah.
if I download a video on YouTube, the pixelation is already awful. They've already pixelized it like you wouldn't believe pixelized it. And I'm like, damn it. Because I've got high resolution videos that I upload.
Yeah.
And, you sit there and you wait on these things to upload so long because it's high resolution. And damn, when they get up there, they look like a cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
So
Happens.
take people like Jacket Cosmic Road. I'll try to send him the original file, not the file off of YouTube, but I'll try to send him the original. That way, when he does his show, he's got the original in the high definition, and hopefully they don't mess with him too much. So
Right. Yeah, we spoke to Jack. He was one of the first people I interviewed, and that was really cool. He's one of the guys who turned me on to your work as well. How can people find more
Jack's
about
really
you?
cool.
What's the name of your YouTube channel and your Twitter?
Well, the YouTube channel is Florida Real UFO, and then on Twitter, on X, it's John Bell.
Okay. I'll have those linked here in the description as well for anybody that wants to check those out. Well, we're right at 5 o'clock, and want to thank you again for sitting down with me, John. It's really cool to learn
No
about
problem.
this. Would love to have you back anytime. Is there anything else, anything I haven't asked you that you want to make sure to discuss?
Well, I don't think. I think we just about covered everything. The important stuff anyway.
Right.
I mean, the most important thing is that people need to share the video. That's the number one way to take care of this. 'Cause, I mean, I'm big enough now to where I got people like Gary Nolan commenting on my thing.
Right.
I've got people from the Galileo Project looking at it. I mean, if you get that many people, even the Masan, the guy with the mummies and stuff, he's liked my videos. If you know that many people and you get that much horsepower going, eventually you're going to get out anyway. So
The dam's going to break eventually. At least we can hope.
well, my last videos where I uploaded the 3 UFOs I captured in one afternoon was getting 1,000 views every hour. And it went on like that for 2 days until they put the brakes on it. And that was on X. And that's 1,000 views an hour is a lot of damn views. That's a bunch of views.
Yeah.
And I think it got up to, I think it's over 40,000 views on the thing. And then my other video now, it's almost got 70,000 views on it. So 70,000 views that's like movie star status or something there. It'd be nice to get 1,000,000 views, but you only get that with little girls doing makeup gossip ads and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, you got to pander a little bit. Well, let's try to bump those numbers up. Anybody watching this, there's a lot linked down below that you can check out. And John, thanks again for sitting down with me. I wish you a lovely evening.
Hey, I appreciate it. We'll do this again sometime.
Absolutely.